pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Ann Berger, 3rd Ward.
Michael Safone, 4th Ward.
Stefan Krakauer, 5th Ward.
Ann Shishin, 6th Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Megan Clementi, Vandewater,
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. On tonight's agenda, the first item on the agenda will be a public hearing to discuss an item for possible community development block grant. Number 2 is appoint Mark Delarme as a sewer maintenance mechanic. 3, appoint Jose Colaga as a plumbing board of examiners. 4, appoint Ahmad Kanani back to planning board alternate. 5, accept the resignation of Charlie Yumberger and appoint Todd Miller to the joint water board. 6, accept a grant award for New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Hudson Heritage Sewer District. 7, approve the 41st annual San Filippo Memorial Holiday Run. 8, a resolution in support of the redevelopment of Schatz property and payment in lieu of tax agreement. 9, a resolution refers zoning text amendment to planning board in reference to the Hudson Valley Animal Rescue. And special consents are 1, Arlington Business Improvement District Holiday Festival. 2, Board of Ethics resignation of Charlie Emberger. 3, accept the resignation of Bianca Cyril, a senior clerk in the water department. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda except for public hearings.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who would like to discuss any item that is on the agenda? If not, take a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The first item on the agenda is a public hearing for a community development block grant. One of the items we originally had on this was Creekside Park improvements that once we looked into it further, it doesn't qualify under community development block grant. So that grant's been applied under a Greenway grant. And talking to the recreation director, we've come up with another grant for Fairview Park. The project will consist of replacing existing retaining wall along the first base side of ball fields, collapsing towards the dugout. It's a safety concern, causing mudslides in the dugout. Grade the existing slope to avoid future flooding of the ball fields. Install a curtain drain along the first base side of the ball field to mitigate drainage issues. Replace existing cinder block dugouts with 2 open air dugout shelters to create dugout accessibility and decrease the vandalism to the park, allowing the police a better patrol area. Install fencing near the ball field and retaining wall. Install a handicap accessible ramp nearest to the ball field to create accessibility to the ball field from the sidewalk. Install a 120-foot sidewalk from the front entrance of the park near the playground to the ball field to create accessibility to the ball field northern side of the park, which is currently not accessible. Restore and repair the existing Veterans Memorial Arch at the entrance of the park. Is there anybody had any questions on our community development block grant? Anybody out there have any questions? Anybody like to speak on this?
I think it's a very good idea. It's been a while since we've done some upgrades to the park. We have done some repairs. I mean, we redid the park, new playground equipment many years ago. It has to be at least 12 by now. And it's ready for the dugouts to be changed, and the ball field needed some work. We were planning on doing that anyway. So this turns out to be a benefit for us as well.
I think it's a good grant for the area.
Did you actually make a motion to open the public hearing?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Who seconded that?
Me.
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this grant? If not, a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Renahan.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie is participating in the Dutchess County Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2023, and whereas input from citizens and groups has been received and considered, and whereas the application is being prepared that addresses our community concerns, and whereas the legal notice of public hearing was posted on November 3rd, 2022, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on November 9th, 2022, and therefore be resolved that the submission of said application to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development be and hereby is authorized, and be it further resolved that the town authorizes a supervisor or his designee to execute all papers necessary and proper to effectuate the acceptance of this grant, and be it further resolved that the work involved in part of the town's ongoing administration is a type 2 action requiring no secret review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 2, be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Mark Delarme to the position of full-time sewer maintenance mechanic with the sewer department at the grade 6, step 3 salary of $24.3614 per hour, effective November 22nd, 2022, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Yeah, and,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
yeah,
Welcome.
before you read the next one, his name is Joe, not Jose.
Well, thank you so much, because I
And
think I
also-
saw his name on there, too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, both Joe and Steve Eckelman from the planning board are on Zoom tonight.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Joe Kulaga to the town of Poughkeepsie Plumbing Board of Examiners for term ending December 31st, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I met Joe. He showed up for the last 2 meetings. He's energetic. He's young. He's really interested in code and maintaining the plumbing code. And I really respect the 2 people, actually 3 people that recommended him for the plumbing board.
Yeah, I've spoke to a couple of plumber board members also who felt very highly of Joe and his knowledge, and being he is a licensed town plumber also, because one of my issues was always to have more of the plumbers to be located in the town. We still have quite a few in the town, and I think going forward, this town board should also know that we're still looking for more plumbers. So to have more, and when the town, that's my opinion, it's not in the code, but the town should still have the majority of the plumbers on the board being town residents. Anybody have anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Ahmad Ketnani to the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board as an alternate, which appointment will expire on December 31st, 2025. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the resignation of Charles Emberger from the joint city-town water board effective immediately. And be it further resolved, that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Todd Miller to the joint city-town water board to fill such vacancy, which term expires December 31, 2023. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to note, I saw Charlie today. He looked very, very relaxed.
Board? Well, what I will say is Todd is, Tom Colgan's assistant in the water department. So on the joint water board now, we have basically a mechanical end from the city also. So to have this here, and Todd is a resident of the town. He lives out here on 44. So to have that expertise at the board from our side and their side, I think is a benefit to both of us.
Perfect.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the town has received notification from NYS Environmental Facilities Corporation that it has been awarded a grant not to exceed the amount of $1,521,568 for the Hudson Heritage Sewer District, the Town of Poughkeepsie Project C373230400. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute an acknowledgement and acceptance of WIIA grant award in substantially the form attached, and such other documents that may be necessary to effectuate the receipt of said grant. And be further resolved that the development of the Hudson Heritage Project has been the subject of a complete seeker review, and because this grant application is part of an ongoing administration of town affairs with no new programs or reordering of priorities which might affect the environment, no further seeker review is required. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Mark Sanfilippo on behalf of the Mid-Hudson Road Runners Club to hold its 41st annual Pete Sanfilippo Memorial Holiday Run, formerly known as Knights of Columbus Holiday Run, which location is shown on the attached map to be held on Saturday, December 3rd, 2022. Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application for said memorial run, and the town clerk is in receipt of a certificate of liability insurance, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the Kearney Real Estate Development Group and RUPCO have formed a joint venture that is interested in redeveloping the former Schatz Barron Corporation property located at 60, 68 to 70 Fairview Avenue, the town of Poughkeepsie. And whereas the joint venture intends to remediate and redevelop the site with a mixed-use community that would include an anticipated 282 residential units and up to 24,500 square feet of commercial space. And whereas the project would include the adaptive reuse of buildings to accommodate approximately 250 residential units marketed to a mix of income levels, including households earning 50%, 60%, 70%, and 110% of Dutchess County's AMI, along with the creation of up to 15,000 square feet of new commercial space, collectively the affordable component. And whereas the project would also include the development of approximately 32 market rate townhouse-style apartments along Fairview Avenue, as well as a continuation of a commercial use in existing 9,500 square foot building at the site, collectively the market rate component. And whereas the site has extensive history of contamination and environmental hazards that have previously prevented its redevelopment and have resulted in the US EPA and New York State DEC to impose liens amount to over $6.7 million. And whereas the current owner of the site has not paid property taxes on the site for an extended period of time, resulting in Dutchess County securing a tax lien on the site amounting over $12.6 million. Whereas in order to undertake the project, the joint venture anticipates that it will cost approximately $18 million to remediate the existing contamination as well as secure the grounds and existing buildings. And whereas the environmental cleanup and redevelopment of the site envisioned by joint venture will not be financially feasible without public funding and other financing approaches, such as entering into a payment in lieu of taxes agreement with the town under the New York Private Housing Finance Law. And whereas the project will also likely require the adoption of new zoning regulations for property, and whereas the joint venture intends to form a housing development fund company under the PHFL to pursue the project. And whereas the joint venture is proposing to enter into a 30-year pilot agreement with the town to cover the affordable component, in which a total of $212,000 per year would be paid to the town and distributed to taxing jurisdictions in the following allocation with a 2% increase per year. Hyde Park Central School District, 2021, $83,222. Proposed pilot with a 2% increase per year increase, $132,500. Town of Poughkeepsie, $39,465 with a 2% per year increase, $60,950. Dutchess County, $10,971 with a 2% increase, $18,550. For a total of those three, current would be $133,658. After 2% would be $212,000. Whereas in addition to the pilot concept summarized above, the market rate component of the project would result in anticipated $144,081 in annual tax revenue to be split between Hyde Park Central School District, town, and county. And whereas the town and joint venture recognizes that the town cannot commit to adopting new zone regulations, entering into a pilot agreement, or any other outcome related to the project until such time as the town has compiled with New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, secret, and completed any legislative and or land use review related to the project. And whereas notwithstanding the understanding that the town cannot commit itself to any particular outcome at this juncture prior to taking the steps necessary to pursue the project, including securing site control, preparing the necessary zoning petition, site plans, and other applications. The joint venture requires some level of comfort that the town is supportive of the proposal to clean up and redevelop the site with the project, including entertaining new zoning regulations and entering into a pilot agreement as contemplated above. Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby express its conceptual support for the project, as well as adopt the new zoning and for entering into a pilot agreement as set forth above, recognizing that the town cannot commit to any particular outcome concerning the project and/or proposed pilot until such time as it has completed the review process required under SECRA and all the relevant local, state, and/or federal laws. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I think it's a great project. I think it's something that has been put together by a lot of people to get to this point. I am completely in favor of it. Normally, I wouldn't be thrilled with a pilot for residential, but in this situation, you have to do something to change what's there, because what's there is a disaster. So I know Deputy County Executive, soon to be County Executive Bill O'Neill, did a lot of work on this project. I want to thank him, the county, the developers for putting this together, because it would have just been a nightmare forever. And the taxes aren't getting paid. All the different levels of government are technically losing money, but the county really was getting hit hard because they reimburse us for that. So it is nice to see something like this happen in our town. You see it other places. This is something hopefully we'll all be proud of. So supporting it on the front end and all the way through, I think is a good thing. So I'm glad we're doing this.
And I'd like to say that Kearney Realty has been very good in helping the town get as much maximum benefit as we can. They added the townhouses. Supervisor Basil and I met with the Kearney Development. They added those. They excuse me?
No, say bullshit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They added a couple, they added townhomes for us on the front side of Fairview, so it didn't look like it's just an open project, everything in the backside. They also met with us and realized that we had to make, it was a lot of work for our town to put this project together. We need to get some more money out of them for this project to do this pilot correctly. So they redeveloped a couple parcels and rezoned them, so there's more money coming back to the town and the residents. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you.
I agree with both of these on that factor, but along the line of the county makes us whole. Somebody doesn't pay the taxes, so the amount of money that they're whole, not only are we paying for it, every other resident in the town in the Dutchess County is paying for it. And I want to thank the Kearney Group for listening to all our complaints and concerns about working, as Mike said, with a couple of parcels and making them outside the pilot, which is actually a big benefit to the town. It raised our numbers quite a bit going forward, because we all know the expenses all come into the school and the other uses, whether it's the police and the fire department and other things in the area. It means a lot, but number one priority is that some of the residents that live in the town of Poughkeepsie don't make the best salaries up there in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands. And this is definitely something that's needed in the town, to have something great, affordable living that's close to the hospitals and the colleges, in the cities and the bus routes. This is, I think, definitely a win-win. On top of that, it cleans up one heck of an eyesore in the town. So I want to thank you for working so far, and hopefully this project moves forward.
And it looks like in the backup too, that they are gonna be giving some money to the fire district. I was just, because it wasn't listed in the, is that just a maybe, or?
That's all to be worked out. Yeah. They're not they don't have a separate
They're not.
pilot or anything. They're part of the agreement.
Oh, okay, I see.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 9. Whereas the town board has received an application from Celeste Wilsey for Hudson Valley Animal Rescue and Sanctuary, requesting that the zoning for the tax parcel number 6262-04-662287 and 6262-04-667251, located on Barnes Drive, Poughkeepsie, New York, in the town of Poughkeepsie, consisting of approximately 7.7 acres, be changed from residence, single-family, 20,000 R20 to neighborhood business, BN designation. And whereas the application also requests that a zoning text amendment that would be added for a definition for animal rescue to section 210.9 definitions, and that would add animal rescues to the list of special uses allowed in the neighborhood business district in section 210-33C, and that would add a new section 210-52(1) with supplementary regulations for animal rescues. And whereas the proposed map and text amendments are attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the town board does hereby waive a verbatim reading of said amendments and does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they had in fact been read verbatim. And whereas the proposed action to amend the zoning map and zoning text is a type 1 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and whereas the town board has determined that the proposed amendments must be referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development and to the town planning board for review and recommendation, and whereas the town board has examined the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQA, regulations and has determined the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board, through its site plan review and approval authority under Chapter 210 of the Town of Poughkeepsie Code, has extremely broad governmental powers to investigate the potential environmental effects associated with the application, and has the experience and capability necessary to conduct a thorough environmental assessment of the action. And whereas amending the zoning requires a public hearing, now therefore be it resolved that the town board determined that the action should be subject to a coordinated review because the proposed use of the property will, among other permits and approvals, require site plan approval by the town planning board. Therefore, the town board consents to the planning board acting as the lead agency to coordinate the environmental review of the proposed action pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law. And the town board refers this matter to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development for a recommendation pursuant to General Municipal Law Section 239M. And the town board refers this matter to the planning board for an advisory report pursuant to Town Code Section 210-154. The town board hereby defers setting a public hearing on the proposed amendments until it has received a recommendation and a determination of significance pursuant to SEQA from the planning board as lead agency. So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Number 10, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items, to wit: authorize Arlington Business Improvement District Holiday Festival. Number 2, accept Board of Ethics resignation Charles M. Berger. And number 3, accept resignation of Bianca Cirolo, senior clerk in the water department. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, any item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie authorizes the Arlington Business Improvement District to hold a holiday festival on Saturday, December 3rd, 2022, between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., which application requests the closure of LaGrange Avenue from Raymond Avenue to 6 LaGrange Avenue and the municipal parking lot on Raymond Avenue for the Holiday Festival Shopping Village. And be it further resolved that the town board further approves the holiday parade on Saturday, December 3rd, 2022, between 4:45 and 6 p.m., which parade will begin on Davis Avenue, traveling south on Raymond Avenue, and end inside the main gate of Vassar College. And be it further resolved that the town board, town of Poughkeepsie, does not include the vendors of food and merchandise participating in the holiday festival as peddlers and hawkers, and these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that the town board, town of Poughkeepsie, does hereby waive the provisions of the noise ordinance in regard to the holiday festival between the hours of 10 and 6 p.m. on December 3rd, 2022. And be it further resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive all permit fees relating to the holiday festival on December 3rd, 2022, pursuant to the request from the Arlington Business Improvement District received on October 26, 22, a copy of which is attached. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is in receipt of a certificate of liability insurance, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the resignation of Charles M. Berger from the town of Poughkeepsie Board of Ethics, effective immediately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Just be aware now that Jessica Servideo will most likely be taking that spot as the representative from the comptroller's office.
Yes. Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does accept with regret the resignation of Bianca Cirolo, senior clerk with the town of Poughkeepsie Water Department, effective November 30th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Just want to thank Bianca for the period of time that she was here for her work. She was always a pleasure to work with. I wish her good luck on her next endeavor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
No. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. That brings us to the end of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is the time that anybody would like to speak, bring any item up at all. This is the time to speak, and please ask you to limit your time to 3 minutes. Come on. Yep, this is your time.
No.
Yep.
Well, all right, I will keep it within 3 minutes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Jobson. I know your time is very valuable. I'll keep this super direct and short. I want to thank the supervisor for inviting me here this evening, because I called him on a financial decision, and he said, I don't make financial decisions. That has to be presented to the board, and absolutely. So my husband and I, and sorry he couldn't be here, he's on homework bedtime duty. But anyway, so we're simply looking for the opportunity to work with the zoning board on a parking issue that's been kind of ongoing for the past 2 years. And most recently, we've been working with our representative, our board representative, and the zoning administrator. And we've been asked to provide an $800 fee in order to discuss the issue with the zoning board. And I thought $800 was quite a lot of money for us to be able to communicate with the zoning board, because we're not looking for an appeal. We are not looking for an interpretation. We simply want the opportunity to discuss this issue, because we're really, I guess, seeking, and I don't want to get into the issue because it's a zoning board issue. It is not at this level, is really just have the opportunity to have the conditions of a driveway permit, as it was explained to us verbally, formalized into the actual permit. So I'm really just here tonight, in summary, to ask for that $800 fee for this to be considered. And I'm not even sure if we're working with the right team, this would go through like the zoning board.
Yeah, the only way to get a fee waived would be through this board.
Yeah,
And
okay.
what you're basically asking for is ask for an interpretation. There's an $800 fee, which is for
Yes, correct.
the zoning board to do work, if they have to hire an engineer and so on and so forth. And I'm not sure, even after talking to her, if it's actually an interpretation.
Yeah, no, we don't want an
Yeah.
interpretation.
And I don't know to what extent and who you would actually see to make that decision after we spoke. Thinking it through is, it's not an interpretation answer, it's looking for something to be added to the stipulation of what it was, so. I don't know exactly what we have to look at to see where it goes, if I hung up from you, because I'm still going through my mind. It's not an interpretation,
Correct.
How does it go without getting looked at, There's an appeal process, and I don't exactly know the answer to what the appeal process is, and we'd have to find out.
Yeah, because it's not an appeal. We're not looking
Yeah.
for an appeal either. We understand, we've always supported the decision. It's just that the decision ended up getting formalized without the conditions of our understanding being incorporated. So the usage is being used differently than how it was explained to us. So again,
So this is your neighbor's property where your neighbor, it's a driveway issue with your neighbor's property, and you're trying to get clarification from the ZBA as to what the conditions should be, or you're trying to get conditions added that you thought were part of their original decision?
correct. We were told that we were explaining the use of what the second driveway would be, and you know, initially we were not support because of aesthetic reasons, the second driveway.
Right.
But when we were explained that the usage would be very occasional for them to move their RV in and out, we were like, absolutely, okay, we can live with that. We're not happy, but we get it. They got to move their RV.
Right.
But then over the past 2 years, it's morphed into
Become convenient and used differently from what,
extremely differently.
Okay.
So we're just trying to kind of
So-
get to a compromise.
so I guess I guess the question I have is, if my neighbor does something, gets an approval from the zoning board, and then I think what they did doesn't match up, I have to come into the zoning board and,
No, it was never at the zoning board. This,
oh, okay.
I'll give you a quick history.
It didn't go to the zoning board because the zoning board
She sent
said.
everybody a history and a biography. And what it was is, with our last zoning administrator, they came in and asked for a second driveway. When they went, from what we know, because nothing's in writing, is they went to the highway department, and the highway said, you have to go to zoning, get an okay. When they went to the zoning administrator, she said, there's no need for it, you're fine. They left, they went back to highway, paid their fee, got their permit from highway, did their driveway work. Well, now, when she came and addressed it, the new zoning administrators looked at it, and her determination is more or less, we'll leave it be because it was done before, but
But the town code technically required.
No,
the
this is
zoning
not the
code.
first time we've been here. We were, when it
But
first got
originally,
installed,
they had that pad.
when they first started installing it is when we came to the town. And the town said, oh, it's not a driveway. It's not a driveway.
So the thing is, there's nothing in front of the zoning board, so they basically bring sort of an application to the zoning board to make a determination. Is that what's?
Well, it
I
became a
think that's
driveway
how it
when they
was.
paved to the road.
Apparently,
correct?
exactly, because that's what's happened. It's been all these little baby steps.
So what was agreed to was just a pad of millings to store your RV, so you didn't have to park it in the backyard, get in and out.
He does park in the backyard, which was great.
Yeah,
You
but
know
now
that.
he's parking it on the millings, but now he
No, he
added.
parks his car, his.
Right,
his
but
regular
originally the
car.
millings were just for that.
Yes, yes.
It was not supposed to be used for any other purpose. Now, whether he's not, now he's parking there all the time instead of his driveway.
So,
Yes,
And he
because we
made it,
asked
he
him.
made it a driveway now because he added the 5 feet to the road.
But because he got the permit to do so.
But we had
But-
expressed.
well,
our
I guess-
concern.
I guess-
That's a problem. I mean, it was from a previous zoning administrator, I believe, said that it was okay to have that driveway, so he went and got the driveway permit, so.
so what your feeling is, there was an error at that time to allow it.
It's
So
not
if there's a-
necessarily an error, but the usage conditions were never put in the permit. So now he can just
So-
use this any
Right
way
now, he has a
wants.
second driveway to use any way he wants,
Any
but
way
when
he
he
wants.
originally went forward, he was only using it for storage of his RV. So that's what you're saying, the permit hasn't, the conditions aren't listed correctly.
But what,
And
so
we
the,
tried to work this out at the neighborly level. I did not want, we did, absolutely did not want to be here at this point ever. Each step of the way, we said, hey, you know, we understand you need to do this, but, you know, do you mind, you know, you have plenty of parking. You can easily accommodate 4 cars in your double wide primary driveway plus a 2-car garage. You know, do you really need to be parking? Because his second driveway now literally is right up against our property line. So when I come home, you know, that's so, and it seems like almost because we asked that then created like this spiteful situation where he won't talk to us. He parks there every night, in and out multiple times during the day. And it's kind of forced us to come here and say, hey, we want to talk about usage. You know,
So-
we've been very accommodating.
You don't mind he has it, you just don't want him parking there,
in
like
the front
using it
yard.
as a driveway with cars.
so I guess my question, so there's a $800 fee
for interpretation.
for the zoning board to make an interpretation of
That should be-
the law?
Of the zoning department's decision. If,
We don't want an
if she
interpretation.
And
makes
the
a.
decision was made when? Recently or?
Recently, but what is she saying? She's not asking for a determination, she's asking for something to be added to it. That's why I think
She
we should
wants-
all
Right, so-
look at this, you know, because
So-
it's not, the $800 fee is for determination. She's not asking for a determination, she's not protesting the determination. She's asking the fact that she'd like to have that stipulation put on the driveway. what it was.
Right, either the intent was to
Oh,
use it for
no, I
RV
get it. I'm
storage,
just
and
trying to
that's
figure
what
out
the
the fee
permissions
part of
say.
it. So the fee is $800 to go in front of the zoning board for them to
Well,
interpret.
To do what we're doing right now.
doesn't that go into an escrow account and depends how much the attorney needs?
Some of it becomes a fee, some of it goes into engineering. In case, like say, an engineer had to go out and look at it, it's a set fee.
Okay,
But
so
I
it
don't
is a
even know if it's a,
I don't think it needs to go that
an
far.
interpretation. That's one of the reasons why I had her come, because to ask the zoning board if something was added on there, is it something that belongs to be on there? Or my thing
Right.
is, what are you paying $800 for?
Right, because my question is, if there was potentially a mistake made and someone pointed out, is that her responsibility, the zoning board, to say, here's the $800, please review this? Or would that be where we look at it internally to figure out, was it correct or incorrect? If it was incorrect, then we have to do something to fix it.
I don't
It
think,
almost seems like it should be on us. We're government,
to a point, but the way the law works, if I'm correct, Megan, is when the zoning department head makes her decision, the step, if you don't like her decision, is an interpretation. But the problem is, she's not going against the interpretation. There was just no added piece in here that says, don't park on there, it's meant to be a driveway.
So which decision is in question? The one previously when the permit was issued, or the most recent one where the zoning administrator said, actually, they were told A rather than B, so I'm leaving it alone?
Probably
I
at
think-
this point, we're going back to the first one, which is intent.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
about intent and use. It's
And is
not
that
about
still within
interpretation.
whatever time periods we have? I mean, can you do an interpretation 20 years later? Or does it have to be
Yeah, I don't know.
3 months, 6 months? It just,
I would think the zoning board
It's
consistent.
More
use.
recent than
Listen
that,
to it
this is
and-
all fairly recent.
no, I know, but I would imagine there's got to be a certain point where if I do something and I get all the permissions that I thought I needed, that you can't come back to me and tell me, you know what, 20 years later, we're like, that was wrong, you got to rip that driveway out?
No,
So-
we're not asking.
No, I know, no, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is it that you're trying to get the interpretation for?
The only problem is, see, like I said, they got all the approvals to have a driveway. The only issue I see is, how can you have a stipulation on how somebody uses a driveway that's been approved?
But
You know, I can park my car, but I don't want you to park your car
Because
in
that's what
that
was
driveway.
told. No, that's what we were told. 2
it-
years ago, we were very clearly told when construction started, and it's been very fragmented, the construction. At night, first started a little bit, then
Well,
suddenly asphalt
here's the
shoulder.
only issue I have, and I agree with you, if it was for an RV only, then that's parking for an RV only, and he never should have added the extra 5 feet to get it to the road, to make it a
Well,
driveway.
he couldn't make the, he
Okay,
would hear
but-
noises,
But
so
hear
we
me
understand.
out, let me get my thought through. But that being the case, if I had done that and I sell the house now, somebody's buying that property with an existing driveway, they're gonna use it any way they want. You can't restrict the other, well, I'm gonna say, just, if I sold it and somebody else bought it, they're gonna come in and say, what are you kidding me? You can't tell me I can't use that, that's already there.
But
You
it was put in
understand?
this- If it was
that's-
put in a stipulation at the beginning, it could have been.
But
But
you
I don't
really
know
gonna
if
tell
it's
somebody they can't park
stipulation.
there, then I'd have my kids playing basketball there.
Oh, Mike, I'm not disagreeing
just
with you.
saying,
I'm just
I-
trying to figure out, in my own mind also, the direction that we point Sandra to go. Is it just sending a letter to the zoning board to ask them to look at if something can be put on? Or does she have to spend the
No,
money on
I
the
think-
interpretation? And I don't know that answer. That's sort of, I don't usually send these things here, but I didn't know the answer.
So can we have the authority to waive that fee, right?
But it could have cost us a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, we have to do the resolution, but we
Yeah,
have the
we can
authority.
waive
So-
the fee.
Can I ask a question before you go forward?
No.
Can I ask our highway supervisor a question? Are you familiar with the permit that this gentleman got? And was it for strictly an RV for a parking only?
They don't do that. They just do.
Yeah, no, it was
They just do a driveway.
it was a road opening permit. He paid $500 to have a road opening, yeah, street opening, and to
Curb
connect
cut, right?
the milling driveway he had to the road.
I have a suggestion. Everybody read what Sandra said?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Read it, interpret it, and we can call the zoning attorney and ask her
Yeah.
for the direction that we should go.
But please, don't lawyer up on me. I
No,
mean,
I don't wanna lawyer
want
up.
intent, I want fairness, that's all I
Oh, no, I'm
want.
not trying to lawyer up. I'm trying to ask her the question, how do we go in front of the zoning board? being
But
a
that's how the
quasi-judicial?
zoning administrator got to the $800.
No, she pulls it out of the code. That's her thought of what an interpretation is.
Every time I've talked to her twice, and she's wonderful, and I know, she's learning too. But she's always said, I gotta go talk to the lawyer. So I'm sorry, but from where we sit, it does seem like people are more concerned about a lawyer's interpretation than going back to intent and what's fairness for both.
I'm not looking for a lawyer's interpretation. I'm looking for a lawyer's way that you can go in front of the zoning board, whether it's free or not.
Okay,
We don't have the right to say you have the right to go to the zoning board. It's a quasi judicial board, whether, we have the right to waive the fee, which could be one of our options. But the other option is, if we don't have to, is it just sending a letter to the zoning board asking for this? I don't know. The answer is that I have to ask her.
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not
That's
looking
fair
the
enough.
lawyer up to do that.
Okay.
I just want a little direction from them because after talking to you,
Let's not pick on the lawyers.
no.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
that's allowed. We don't
I'm
mind.
sorry.
No, we don't mind.
Didn't mean to do
No.
that,
And
but
I will
We
get
all
back
stick
to you by-
together, right?
I will get back to you on Monday.
It's
also.
like a David
So
and
since the board,
Goliath
since we
situation
set
here.
the fee, and we can waive the fee.
Yes.
So
If
if
she-
this young lady goes back and they want their $800, you come back here.
No, we shouldn't even
No.
get that way. If
No, we
if
shouldn't have to
go,
get
We
that-
waive it.
Bill, my answer is if I call the attorney and she thinks it has to go as an interpretation, and it sounds like this board really doesn't have an issue with waiving it, we can waive it at that point. But I
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
want to go and have to put it in front of the board if it doesn't need to be waived.
Because
Right.
in this situation, it seems like something that we as a town have to figure out what's the
Because
correct.
going forward, we have to make sure this doesn't
Right,
happen
This
again.
could happen again to somebody else, let's say.
Yeah, and I don't want that to happen.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's two sides, because somebody put money into their property to build that driveway. So pulling the rug out from under them after the fact is problematic.
We do not want to do
And then the
that.
other side of it is, you had an understanding of what you thought was happening, and you don't feel that that's what actually happened at the end of the day. So, but I do think that that comes back to government to figure that out, not the individual. So, one way or the other is, I think we're in consensus that we want to help you figure out what the proper resolution is here.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, call Monday, and I'll have an answer of where we go.
By Monday?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, because
You
I
guys-
tell you next Friday?
Well, this
move
government, make it
fast. I'm
Tuesday.
just
This
saying.
government, make it Tuesday.
No, that'll force me
Just
to do it
kidding.
by Monday. I'll
All
call
right,
it
I
tomorrow.
usually say 2 weeks, but if you
No,
wanna
don't
say
give me 2
Monday-
weeks, no. No, we'll have a new meeting, if we need to put it on within 2 weeks, that's where it'll go. Yeah.
All right, thank you everyone for your time. I know this is a very gray area and I appreciate it.
Thanks.
And Jeff, very nice to see you again. Do you remember me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. Say hello to your brother for me.
I will.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Good night.
everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Renahan. Oh, wait, make a
Close,
motion to
yeah.
resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jeff?
Anything else, right? Nobody else closing this then, right? Okay. Be resolved, Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following: to discuss matters which are exempt under the open meeting law, including matters subject to the attorney-client privilege, and be it further resolved that no action appropriating money will be taken. So moved.
Second.
A motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Town Board goes into executive session at 7:43 PM.